Now, in this final video, I just want to run through with you and the typical excuses people use for not making a change. And I want to give you a solution to resolving those the excuse that you're giving yourself potentially. So, excuse number one is I don't have the time. The amount of times I hear people saying to me, but Kate, I don't have the time. I've got kids, I'm doing this with the kids and doing that with the kids. You just don't understand. Oh, I understand. I'm as equally as busy as anybody is. I have a 1.5-year-old that literally is round my ankles all the time. I take my husband backwards and forwards to work every morning, and I pick him up at night, and that's about a half an hour journey each way. I'm busy with Sophia all day, but yet I still manage to get work done on the business, and I still manage to do the essential things that I need to do to maintain my health. It's quite simple. You have to make time and be in control of your life. So let's look at this practically. To make time and be more in control, then you have to have the energy to do things when you've got and create a little bit of time for yourself to do something without kids screaming around your ankles, running out the door to work, or whatever it is your morning or your day consists of. You've got to find the time to have breathing space to do what it is you need to do. So at night time, let's realistically look at it. We're all too tired to do anything at all. Now, I don't know whether any of you have heard of the 5 a.m. club. Well, this is how it came about. Because the most successful people always get up early. They all get up at 5 a.m. and they start their day. And they start their day in a very calm and controlled way. They don't start their day running around like headless chicken, all stressed and wound up, because that's how the rest of their day continues on like. So my first bit of advice would be is get an early night. Now, I've covered this in a couple of other videos where I've said about the importance of getting quality sleep. It is really important to get quality sleep to improve your healing process and to improve the cell regeneration process. So from an immune perspective and a general health perspective, it is absolutely vital that you get quality sleep. So there's nothing to be gained by sitting up and watching pointless television programs, and there's no point in sitting up when the kids have gone to bed and scrolling through social media for hours on end. It is not serving you. Plus, it's stimulating the brain and making it harder for you to unwind and switch off and go to sleep. My best advice I can give you is when the kids have gone to bed, maybe do a few little bits and bobs that you need to do. Try not to overstimulate your brain with things like television and internet and alcohol and caffeine stimulants. Try to avoid things like that and give yourself an early night. And really give the tools a go, like sleep hypnosis. There's techniques you can use through EFT to help you with sleep. There's all sorts that you can use. Find something that works for you. I mean, I really like sleep hypnosis, but find something that really works for you that helps you to drift off into restful sleep. Now, what that's going to give you is the ability. You've gone to bed earlier, which means you can now get up earlier before the rest of the family are up, mithering your head about other things that they want you to do, and you can focus on tasks that are not just for you. but they're for the family as well. So in terms of your health and your family's health, maybe use that time to prepare a healthy breakfast for them in the morning, prepare a healthy lunch for to take out to work or whatever. Prepare your smoothie drinks. I mean, that's what that my typical morning is. I get up. Sophia's usually awake at 5 a.m. So I usually get up about between 3 and 4 o'clock, depending on how much I want to actually fit in. So I usually get up about between 3 and 4. I'll clear the pots up from the night before if I haven't done them the night before, and the first thing I will do is I will prepare my drink with all my functional foods in. I'll prepare my husband's one as well. I'll prepare Sophia's one, and I will have mine straight away because I can't function unless I have that. I really can't get my brain in gear. But while I'm doing all that, I'll be listening to a motivational audio book, and then once I've done that, provided Sophia's not come down and already awake, I will do a bit of a bit of meditation, a little bit of quiet time for me, just to get my head straight for the rest of the day. So I'll do all my mindset work within that period, and I'll do my prepping in terms of health and nutrition wise. That's what I do in the mornings. And if you wanted to go for a run, I mean, if I wanted to go for a run, I'd usually I'll have to build that in. But I prefer doing more resistance work, so I really need to. Unfortunately, that would wake Sophia up, so that's not really a practical solution for me first thing in the morning in the living room. But if you wanted to build in some workout sessions, then you're best doing it in the morning, not doing it at night time after work, because that's going to make you release lots of adrenaline. It's going to stimulate the brain, and again, it's going to make it harder for you to switch off and unwind and go to sleep, which is not going to serve you. So you really need to create time for the things that are important to you, and your health is your number one. It should be your number one priority. Getting your mental health and your physical health should be your number one priority, because without those two things, you can work all the hours God sends and achieve the success, but it's unsustainable. Something will come up and bite you on the bum without you even realizing it, and then all of a sudden everything is in chaos and it is unsustainable. Trust me, I've been there, done it, got the t-shirt. I had 2 very successful clinics, and because I was so poorly, I lost my clinics. I couldn't run them. I couldn't even, do the management of the one I didn't, it wasn't even there day to day for. I had girls looking after it for me, but I still couldn't run the business. So trust me, it is so important. You need to make your mental and your physical health your number one priority. And that means you've got to find the time to do it. And if it means going to bed early and then getting up earlier before the rest of the family to fit that in, that is what I would advise you and encourage you to do. So next excuse is, I can't afford it. Okay, right. This is where I've done you a monthly tracker. Now, you can have this template by all means. I'll attach it to below this video that you can download yourself, and you can work out your own, or you can create your own in Excel, whatever you want to do. But you should have a list of things that are your monthly and daily essentials. And you can see the monthly essentials column, you've got rent, mortgage, gas, electric, all the usual, travel expenses. And this would be, I've done this typically for a couple, to a husband and wife, or partners. Now, I've highlighted this in health in red because that is what should be in, but quite often isn't in. That should be in your monthly essentials. And you should be allocating, depending on what your goal is and how much work you need to do, you should be allocating anything between £50 and £150 for this. Now, most people would usually build that into their food bill, and this should be completely and utterly separate. So for things like if you're buying food for smoothies and juices, that should build into your food bill. not into your health bill. Your health bill's totally different. So how much you need to invest will all depend on what you actually have to achieve, need to achieve. In your luxuries column, you've got your luxuries, your holidays, your Christmas, your activities for the kids, your nails, your hair, your wine, your nights out. All those are luxuries. Now, you would never buy a bottle of wine if it meant not putting food on the table and feeding yourself or the children, would you? You wouldn't. Well, no sensible person would do that anyway. You would never book a holiday or pay for a holiday if it meant you couldn't pay your rent or your mortgage and you were going to be out on the streets with no roof over your head. Nobody would ever do those things. Nobody would pay for their nails to be done if it meant going into months of arrears with their electric or their gas bill or not paying the car insurance, or nobody would ever do any of those things. No sensible person would do those things. So why do so many people prioritize all these luxuries over and above investing in their health? And the amount of times I hear people saying to me, but I can't afford it, but yet say to me, but I'm going on holiday, or I've got Christmas to pay for, or or they'll post up on social media about them, buying a bottle of wine in for the weekend, or they're going on a night out with the girls, or they're going out a night out with the partner, or they're taking the kids to this activity and that activity. Even the kids' activities. Exercise is important for the kids, but you would never pay for the kids' activities if it meant that you couldn't do the weekly shop. You would never pay for the kids' activities if it meant that you were going to be short on paying the rent or the mortgage or paying the gas bill. You'd never do those things. The kids can get exercise without it costing any money. Don't get me wrong, if you've got the budget there and the spare income there to spend it on your kids, absolutely spend it on your kids. I'm 100% all for that. And I always spend any spare money I have on Sophia. But I would never do it if it meant me being riddled in pain and not having my health. Because if I don't have my health, I can't look after her. I can't be the mum that I want to be to Sophia. And that goes the same for all of you. You have to put your health as your number one priority. So before you make a judgment call and say, I can't afford it, write out a list of your essentials and write out a list of your luxuries. And then honestly say, what luxuries can you give up that can be invested more wisely in your health, which will serve you better moving forward. But it'll not just serve you better moving forward, it'll serve the whole family better moving forward. So that's a task that you can get on with, and so I'll put the Word doc that you can download just below this video. What if it doesn't work? Well, my answer to that is, but what if it does? And I know that what I can teach you will absolutely help you. I can't tell you if you're going to get results next week, next month. It's all relative to your own personal circumstances and how much the body has, how much the body has to address, and how many challenges you have to contend with, how many we have to work through, how many bad habits we have to turn into consistent good habits. That's what it all is all relative to. But will you start improving very quickly? Absolutely, you will start improving very, very quickly. But let me just ask you this one question. When you go to the doctor and he prescribes you a medication, do you think he knows if that is going to work? He has no clue whether that's going to work or not. No clue whatsoever. Now, if I was to tell you that the treatment, when my mum was given months to live, because her cancer had gone to secondaries, it had gone to liver and the lung, she was put on a treatment program with 2 antibody treatments and a 18-week course of chemotherapy. Now, that combination of treatment had a less than 5% success rate. So it was they basically didn't hold out much hope of my mum ever becoming cancer free. In fact, it was pretty much impossible for her to become cancer free as far as they were concerned, based on the severity of the problem at that time, based on the nature of the cancer, and based on her age. Everything was against her. And when you're engaging in a treatment program with a less than 5% success rate anyway, it doesn't hold out much hope. Yet my mum still became cancer free. She was cancer free for the last 6 months of her life. Now that's not the first time my mum's done that. She's done it because of what she was doing in terms of her own diet and her own lifestyle, because she was giving the body the tools it needed to perform more efficiently. The drugs cannot do anything on its own. The drugs are a vehicle to buy the body time. The drugs are a vehicle to treat a symptom. They're not there to treat the root cause. They're not there to get the body working smarter. Only you can do that. But even still, when they give you a drug that is designed to either buy the body time or treat a symptom, they still have no idea whether that's going to work on you. And that's why they will always, particularly when I'm talking about in the UK here, under the NHS, they will always prescribe the cheapest one first, and then they will work upwards. Because if they can get away with giving you a cheaper drug that is going to deliver the desired outcome that they want, well, they'll do it. And then they'll work to the next one and the next one and the next one, and they won't give you the most expensive one until they've exhausted all the cheaper options. But they have no idea, so even the most expensive option, they have no idea if that is going to work for you or not. They are literally playing Russian roulette with our health. And we let them. That's a laughable thing. We let them do it. But you see, anything to do with changing your lifestyle, changing your diet, the only thing that you can do is benefit from those improvements in your diet and lifestyle adjustments. It's never going to do you any harm unless you are depriving the body of essential nutrients that it needs, and that's where you have to be armed with the right knowledge. That's the only way it's going to do you harm, is if you are not armed with an adequate level of knowledge and truly understand what exactly is your body needs nutritionally. And that's exactly the reason why I put together the Get Healthy Bootcamp, so that this essential knowledge was more easily accessible to more people, without them having to engage in a massive investment. Now, don't get me wrong, the more you put into getting the body working smarter, the more you will have to financially invest in your health. But when it comes to the foundation knowledge, which is what I refer to it as, that knowledge should be very, very easily accessible to everybody. I strongly believe that this knowledge should be made available to us in school. That's how important this core essential knowledge that I have within this program is to our long-term health. This is how important it is to our children's health, to maintain it. As we've established so far, it isn't enough just to eat healthily. It isn't enough just to have supplements. It just isn't enough. You really have to understand what makes the body tick. And that's what I'm going to teach you, and I'm going to walk you throughout this program. So you've really got very little to lose at all. In fact, you've got nothing to lose at all. You've got a 3 weeks trial, so you can trial it out. If it's not for you, then you can cancel. You can cancel it before the first payment goes out. You know, you can have a look around the members area and see exactly what it is that you're going to be getting access to within the program. But I promise you, you will not regret signing up to this program, because if you follow it as I advise you to follow it, it will change your life. You're never going to look back and think, oh, I wish I'd never done it. You will be pleased that you've done it. I promise you, you will be pleased that you've done it. So, on that note, I hope you found these 3 video workshops useful. If you've got any questions at all, drop me a message in the group, and I will answer it as best as I possibly can. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you inside the program. Just click the link below the video, and it'll take you to the subscription page where you can grab your 3 weeks trial and start that straight away. Okay, thank you for joining me on this workshop, and I'll see you over on inside the program.